watching this, which is they're looking at, well, Biden leads in all the states, and he doesn't need all of them to get to his 270. Donald Trump needs a lot of things to happen, not just Pennsylvania. And so, and we really have never been in a situation like this where, in some ways, you could be far more certain of who's going to get 270 electoral votes, but less certain about which of the combination of states is going to get him there. And so we are in this unique situation where we're not quite at certainty of Arizona, not at certainty in Nevada, not at certainty in Georgia or in Pennsylvania, but reverse engineer it. It is much harder for Donald Trump to figure out how to reverse this.
And here is former Vice President Joe Biden about to take the podium.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. We don't have a final declaration of victory yet, but the numbers tell us it's clear. Tell us a clear and convincing story. We're going to win this race. Just look at what has happened since yesterday. 24 hours. We were behind in Georgia. Now we're ahead, and we're going to win that state. 24 hours ago, we were behind in Pennsylvania, and we are going to win Pennsylvania. And now we're ahead, but we're winning in Arizona, we're winning in Nevada, and in fact, our lead just doubled in Nevada. We're on track to over 300 electoral college votes. And look at the national numbers. We're going to win this race with a clear majority of the nation behind us. We've gotten over 74 million votes. Let me repeat that, 74 million votes. That's more than any presidential ticket has ever gotten in the history of the United States of America. And our vote total is still growing. We're beating Donald Trump by over 4 million votes. And that's a margin that's still growing as well. One of the things I'm especially proud of is how well we've done across America. And we're going to be the first Democrat to win in Arizona in 24 years. We're going to be the first Democrat to win Georgia in 28 years. And we've rebuilt the blue wall in the middle of the country that crumbled just 4 years ago. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, the heartland of this nation. I know watching these vote tallies on TV moves very slow, and as slow as it goes, it can be numbing. But never forget, the tallies aren't just numbers. They represent votes and voters, men and women who exercise their fundamental right to have their voice heard. And what's becoming clear each hour is that record number of Americans of all races, faiths, religions chose change over more of the same. They've given us a mandate for action on COVID, the economy, climate change, systemic racism. They've made it clear they want the country to come together, not continue to pull apart. The people spoke, more than 74 million Americans, and they spoke loudly for our ticket. But while we're waiting for the final results, I want people to know we're not waiting to get the work done and start the process. Yesterday, Senator Harris and I held meetings with groups of experts on public health and the economic crisis this country is facing.
Trump's going to lose his fucking mind.
The pandemic, as you also know, is getting more worrisome all across the country. Daily cases are skyrocketing, and it's now believed that we could see as many as 200,000 cases in a single day. The death toll is approaching 240,000 lives lost to this virus. That's 240,000 empty chairs, kitchen tables, and dining room tables all across America. We'll never be able to measure all that pain and the loss, the suffering that so many families have experienced. We know something about what it feels like to lose someone.
Come on,
Joe. We want them to know they're not
Jack.
alone. Our hearts break with you. We want everyone to know on day one, we're going to put our plan to control this virus into action. We can't save any of the lives lost, any of those have been lost, but we can save a lot of lives in the months ahead. Senator Harris and I also heard yesterday about how this recovery is slowing because of the failure to get the pandemic under control. More than 20 million people are on unemployment. Millions are worried about making rent and putting food on the table. Our economic plan will put a focus on a path to a strong recovery. Look, we both know tensions are high. They can be high after a tough election, one like we've had. But we need to remember, we have to remain calm, patient. Let the process work out as we count all the votes. You know, we're proving again what we've proved for 244 years in this country. Democracy works. Your vote will be counted. I don't care how hard people try to stop it. I will not let it happen. The people will be heard. Our journey is toward a more perfect union, and it keeps moving on. In America, we hold strong views. We have strong disagreements, and that's okay. Strong disagreements are inevitable in a democracy, and strong disagreements are healthy. They're a sign of a vigorous debate, of deeply held views. But we have to remember, the purpose of our politics isn't total, unrelenting, unending warfare. No, the purpose of our politics, the work of the nation, isn't to fan the flames of conflict, but to solve problems, to guarantee justice, to give everybody a fair shot, and to improve the lives of our people. We may be opponents, but we're not enemies. We're Americans. And no matter who you voted for, I'm certain of one thing. The vast majority of almost 150 million Americans who voted, they want to get the vitriol out of our
I wonder if the
politics.
person who called in the bomb threat
We're certainly not going to
considers
agree on a lot of
us
issues.
not their
But
enemies.
at least we can agree to be civil with one another. We have to put the anger and the demonization behind us. It's time for us to come together as a nation to heal. It's not going to be easy, but we have to try. My responsibility as president will be to represent the whole nation. And I want you to know that I'll work as hard for those who voted against me as those who voted for me. That's the job. That's the job. It's called the duty of care for all Americans. We have serious problems to deal with.
Duty.
From COVID to the economy to racial justice to climate change. We don't have any more time to waste on partisan warfare. You know, and more than that, we have such an incredible opportunity to build the future we want for our kids and our grandkids. I've said many, many times, I've never been more optimistic about the future of this nation. There is no reason we can't own the 21st century. We just need to remember who we are.
Joe,
This is the
shut the
United
fuck up.
States of
I'm
America.
already regretting my
There's
decision
never been
voting for
anything,
you.
anything
Shut the fuck up.
we've been unable
Shut the
to
fuck
do,
up.
unable to
Shut the
accomplish
fuck up.
when we've done it together. I hope to be talking to you tomorrow. I want to thank you all, and may God bless you.
God damn.
May God protect our troops. Good night.
Well, we heard a lot of the themes you would hear if that was a victory speech.
How about the? I
No,
hope
Biden did
to
not
be talking to you
announce.
tomorrow
He heard
was an
you.
interesting line.
Moving towards a victory speech.
What if you
I
heard
thought it
me
was
say?
really interesting that the themes were the themes that he rode to victory. If it's going to be a victory, that's what he's been focusing on.
Oh my God. Okay, so you know what? It's really dangerous. Cut a liberal and a fascist bleeds. It is really bad. It is really bad to make it seem like we are not heading toward partisan warfare right now. We're talking about fascist tendencies brought forward by this own administration, by the sitting president, carried out by his own foot soldiers. All right, we had a bomb threat today in Philadelphia. We had a plot to carry out another terrorist attack in the convention center of Philadelphia. We're not friends with fascists. I think it's completely fine to say that. We're not friends with right-wing extremists. We are not friends with terrorists. I think that it's dangerous to not make that distinction. Joe Biden acting like it's okay, we'll all sit down at the kitchen table, we'll work out the differences. No, absolutely not. This is the reason why it is going to be a really hard 4 years. This four more years of this bullshit. Liberals are insufferable too.
There's a lot of concern because the president is clearly ginning up many people who believe the things he says.
And it's going to be even harder trying to deal with them. On top of dealing with, I don't know, the threat of right-wing fascism carrying out in multiple acts of violence across this country. Wait, these are my friends. Ew. What happened? Trump supporters spit. Ew, a Trump supporter spit on a counter protester. Nasty. Okay. So again, like hearing Joe Biden refuse to maybe not claim victory, but make it abundantly clear that Trump is the loser. Trump is the loser for going so far in his refusal to accept the outcome of this election, to refuse to accept the reality of this situation, that he has cast doubts in the integrity of our electoral processes in this way that has led to acts of violence being carried out in the public realm right now, is something that Joe Biden could absolutely denounce on the spot. You don't have to act like you are the unifier in chief right now whenever we are seeing clear instances of terrorism in the most extreme cases and civil unrest by and large across this country. I think you have another tab with audio open. Maybe. There we go.